Well, it's another day, and yet again, Christian conservatives are triggered and outraged about something that they have not done the adequate research on, hence, they don't understand anything that's going on. So, because they don't understand what's going on, they're terrified, and they are running around being terrified. I tell you, this is just more proof that God does not answer prayers, because I've been praying, actually begging God, almost every single day, please, God, make your fan club less whiny. Please. And just like when I was a kid and would pray to God, nothing. That's right, nothing. Nothing changed. Christians are still whiny, and God is still mad at me, apparently. What's up, everybody? Hunter Avalone here, back with another video. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Now, I'm sure by now you're wondering, what exactly are the Christian conservatives so freaking pissed off by? Famine? World hunger? Starving children? Orphaned kids? Another Pixar movie has a 3-second gay scene? No, none of this. They're mad because Biden has declared March 31st the Transgender Day of Visibility, and it just so happens that that coincides with Easter. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Good Friday is supposed to be a special time for Christians when they remember the time that Jesus Christ died. Apparently, all of the conservative Christians' thinking skills also died. Although in that case, I'm fairly certain that their thinking skills are not going to ever rise again. So one very triggered snowflake tweets this out with the headline, "Biden declares Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility." There's a couple problems with this. First and foremost, Easter Sunday changes. Easter Sunday is different every year. Unlike Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day, which all fall on fixed dates, Easter can be any time between March 22nd and April 25th. In 2020, it falls on Sunday, April 12th. So again, that headline, along with a bunch of angry Christian conservatives, are all making it sound as if Biden is somehow replacing Easter or something with this transgender visibility thing. He's not. Easter changes. March 31st has been Transgender Day of Visibility or whatever since at least 2009. According to the New York Post, which is anything but a liberal source, and by the way, the same publication that published this headline that this angry conservative posted, it says that Biden announcing March 31st as Transgender Day of Visibility was simply a formality since the day has been in place since 2009, and it always falls on March 31st. So since 2009, this Transgender Day of Visibility has been happening every March 31st. Easter changes. Now Easter comes along. It just so happens to be March 31st. Biden, as a formality, brings up that March 31st is Transgender Day of Visibility, and a bunch of Christian conservatives think that this is Biden, like, replacing Easter? Really? Even Donald Trump called Biden's announcement part of the administration's years-long assault on the Christian faith. Biden is Catholic. Biden is a Christian. So the White House announced on Friday, "I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility." These are the facts. The day that Easter falls on is different every year. The day that Transgender Day of Visibility falls on is not different every year. And it's been exactly the same since 2009. So this is not Joe Biden introducing some new thing to replace Christianity with lesbianism. This is just a formality, a standard thing that's been going on since 2009. But still, it does not stop a bunch of religious nutcases from reeing on Twitter. This guy, Greg Laurie, says, "This is really hard to believe. President Biden issued a proclamation recognizing March 31st as Transgender Day of Visibility. This is also the date of Easter, where we celebrate the fact that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. What is the president thinking? What are you thinking?" Listen, you might be a Christian if you don't think a man can be a woman, but you do think a man can raise from the dead. This is a profound insult to the sincerely held religious beliefs of millions of Americans on our holiest day. America needs God more than ever, and yet this is the stance the White House takes. It's time to turn back to God, not turn our backs on God. We need to repent and pray for a spiritual awakening in America. It is our only hope. Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi, chill the fuck out. And, again, Easter's date is different every time. If it's different every time, and the Transgender Day of Visibility is not, then it's actually Easter coming along and stomping all over the Trans Day of Visibility. Go somewhere else, Jesus. Again, this is just an overlap because of the way that time works. This is not an attack on Christianity or anything like that. But of course, these people are going to play the victim. I also fail to see how and why this would be an insult to religious people, because just celebrate Easter and ignore the Transgender Day of Visibility? Is your brain so tiny that you cannot possibly conceive the idea that maybe, just maybe, more than one thing can be going on in a single fucking 24 hours? During the Transgender Day of Visibility, okay, it can be your day of invisibility. Okay? How's that? You disappear, shoo, run off to fucking church or something. But seriously, these things are not mutually exclusive. President Biden has signed a proclamation declaring that a child sacrificing cult is now the established religion of the United States. So I guess, is this just based on the weird misconception that, like, poor kids are being mutilated by the evil trans doctors or something? You realize that you literally worship a god that actually commanded Abraham to sacrifice his child, right? Your religion literally is that God sacrificed his own son, his child, to save everybody else. You believe in a child sacrificing cult. Sidewalk Steve? Did you fucking bump your head on the sidewalk as a baby? Is this why you're so retarded? Biden is declaring that a child sacrificing cult is now the established religion as opposed to the old child sacrificing cult. I see that President Biden has declared tomorrow to be Transgender Day of Visibility, but I want to declare to you that such a designation has no meaning whatsoever, other than to appease and assuage a block of his most ardent supporters. Did they think that, like, Transgender Day of Visibility just wasn't here until Biden declared it? I wish that everybody had the privilege of Google. You know, like, so many people have Twitter accounts, but they just don't have any Google accounts, and it's sad. Transgenderism is a mirage of the mind. It is a phantasm of the foolish. No one is trans. And then he says a Bible verse. Wait, so transgenderism is all in the mind? What about your God, crackpot? You think maybe your fucking God is all in your mind? You realize that they've done literal brain studies, right, of people that believe in God. And when they ask them questions, the part of the brain that's responsible for one's own opinion lights up just the same when asked, what does God think about this thing? In people's minds, God is just whatever they like and whatever feels okay to them. Gay people make these people uncomfortable. You know, they're confused why they're watching two men kiss and it's making their pee-pee hard. It freaks them out. And so we get this mess as a result. Marjorie Taylor Green. Oh no, what is she saying? Biden and the Democrats decided Easter, the holy day of our Savior's resurrection, as Transgender Day of Visibility. There is no skippity yee-hawing length Biden and the Democrats won't go to mock your faith and to thumb his nose at God. No one just, like, decided this. March 31st, again, has been this thing since 2009. But Marjorie Taylor Green might be too busy cheating on her husband or getting divorced to do her own research. So then again, I don't blame her. It's fine. She goes on to say that there's no length Biden and the Democrats won't go to mock your faith. Again, how is this a mockery of anyone's faith? It's the Christians who are, if you ask me, mocking their own faith. Maybe they should represent their own faith and their own beliefs a little better. Stop being little piss bitch babies, pull your fucking diaper up, and shut the fuck up. Do 2 seconds of research, as I did, And you'll see that no one's replacing anything. It's been this way. You've just been too stupid to know in the past. You're still too stupid to know now. But if you did know, turns out it's not that big a deal. Turns out you're not the little baby victim.
Can anyone still put their head in the sand and believe that there is not an ideological, secular push behind identity politics? It is to destroy the family and destroy Christianity. Easter Day chosen as Trans Day of Visibility by President Biden.
Nope, actually this was in 2009, so I guess it was Barack Obama who made that decision. But it's okay, Greg. I understand that you might be a little bit lost there, homie.
Can't get much more blatantly Antichrist than this Easter proclamation by President Biden. Of course, it ain't gonna change the reality of the crucified and risen Christ. May those who dwell in darkness see the light that the darkness cannot overcome.
Okay, Shakespeare. Take a deep breath there, pal. This is a Wendy's. Of course, it ain't gonna change the reality of the crucified. Again, these motherfuckers don't believe in like trans people, but they believe that like a man could walk on water and rise from the dead, and that a snake could talk, and that a donkey could talk. Like, they believe all these things. But trans people, now that's where I say it's just too far now. Talking donkeys, Disney movie degrees of delusion. Yeah, sure, whatever. Trans people existing, which has been documented in medical literature for decades. Throughout thousands of years, we have seen trans people existing throughout history. But that's just too hard to believe. That's where they put their hands up, you know? Okay, who is this guy? Redeemed prodigal. Once lost, now found. Dude, every Christian is such a chuckle fuck. He looks like a guy I'd see at church. You know what? No, he looks like the guy I'd see at church. And then when I finally get out of the boring service and I can eat like the donuts at the end of the service, he would remind me how gluttony is a sin. Jack Posobiec. One side worships Christ, celebrates Easter, and honors the fallen police. One side worships transgenderism and honors criminals. And it's just that simple. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. Did you just say that you worship Christ and celebrate Easter? You know that Jesus was a criminal, right? You know that he disrespected the temple, right? He like walked in and flipped the temple tables. You know that he committed blasphemy according to the temple priests, right? Jesus was a criminal, homeboy. And you worship that mofo. Meanwhile, no one on the left is really worshiping transgenderism. No one's doing this. Simply recognizing the existence of trans people. Because one side lives in reality and the other side does not. And it's just that simple. Vivek Ram Swamp Weasel is, of course, back again, bitching on Twitter. Let's see what he says. Joe Biden declaring the most holy day for Christians as Transgender Visibility Day is a slap in the face to every American, whatever their faith. Okay, again, it's been like this, buddy, for a little bit now. So many people just are not privileged enough to have Google. It's heartbreaking. Now the White House is banning any religious symbolism on Easter eggs. We're in the middle of a war in this country. And take it from a Hindu, that isn't a Christian nationalist talking point. Yeah, it's just a fucking retard talking point, obviously. So another thing that a bunch of conservatives and religious nutcases are super triggered about is this. Religious-themed designs banned from the White House Easter egg art contest. Oh my gosh. Do you realize that we could have, with a very small little paintbrush, painted the entire gospel message on an Easter egg, submitted it, and everybody in the White House could have known Christ as their own personal Lord and Savior? Even God himself is challenged by the sheer power of Dark Brandon. So this is yet again an example of conservatives being super mad because they just didn't do any of the proper research. Once you dig a little bit deeper and you see the context, it turns out this is really not surprising at all. First and foremost, there's a theme for the Easter egg art thing, and it's celebrating our military families. So I think conservatives would actually be kind of happy about that. Children are asked to design eggs with images based on their own lives. And it's not just like religious stuff banned. Children can't promote materials that promote bigotry, racism, hatred, or harm against any group or individual, or promotes discrimination based on race, gender, religion, nationality, disability, sexual orientation, or age in their designs. The flyer for the contest also states that an Easter egg design submission, quote, must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements. This is clearly like, hey, we have a theme that you need to stick to. Don't try to just like make, let's go Brandon Easter egg and submit it. Don't try to put like a big, like, Jesus Christ is the only way on your egg, or like, let's avoid the overtly religious themes and everything else. Even more so, this is a government thing. Congress shall make no law upholding an established religion. That can be interpreted also, even more so, as not supporting it. This is why religion is not heavily pushed in public schools. They are government. So considering this is a government thing taking place on government property, it actually makes perfect sense, constitutionally speaking, that overtly religious symbolism wouldn't be necessary or wouldn't be acceptable for the submission. But again, this is such virtue signaling bullshit. I don't want to believe that any conservative or any Christian is this much of a brain dead pussy that they're over here whining and crying because religious symbolism can't be on my Easter egg art design. Like, shut the fuck up, okay? If it means that much to you, if you have to evangelize that bad, then shut up and go to Africa. Go spread the gospel to someone over there, okay? Go talk to some poisonous reptiles. But this is just cringy virtue signaling. Christians mad about this, that they have nothing better to be mad about. And this once again just shows that Christians are not oppressed and they're not victims at all. If the only time you're victimized is by your own stupidity because you didn't do the proper research to know that Transgender Visibility Day has been on March 31st since 2009. Biden didn't just like decide this was going to be on Easter. And if you knew that Easter changed every year, so actually it just so happens that Easter overlaps on this thing that's already been here, turns out it's not that scary. But your own stupidity, your own ignorance, is the only thing oppressing you dumb hoes. It's your own fucking retardation. You don't know how to do research. You're triggered, you're butthurt, because you're stupid. And rather than doing the proper research, you fill the blanks in with fear. This demonstrates that Christians are privileged because their oppression is my Easter egg hunt and not doing the proper research to know that Transgender Visibility Day is always on this day, and it just so happens to overlap with Easter. That's their big oppression. Happy Transgender Day of Visibility. And, I guess Easter's fun to celebrate if you believe in the Easter Bunny, but of course, God is dead. Christians, conservatives, stay mad, keep coping, and I'll see you all in hell. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.